Hello everyone, welcome to another strategy session here on Forrest Shuffle. Today, we're going to be talking about what cards are the strongest and the weakest. As always, we play with the Alpine expansion here, so note that if you don't have it, it really is a great expansion, really helps balance the game and make some of the strongest cards not too overpowered. Now that being said, one cool thing about Forrest Shuffle is the randomness. You never know which cards are out, and you got to play your Forrest. So any of these cards can be great, but some consistently are stronger than others based on how the way the game plays out. First and foremost is your wolf, followed by your deer. Very few cards consistently will be stronger than the wolf and the deer. The wolf especially, there's only 4 of them, and quite possibly they get you a lot of points. And if you get the bonus action to get the right colors, you might go again. More importantly, 5 points per deer. Now, if you have 3 deer, that's 15 points. Anything in the 15-point range, that's a great card. But I've seen a lot of games, especially 2 or 3 person games where somebody has 4, 5, 6, even 7 deer. That is an insane number of cards you get to draw and just a ton of points. So say, for example, you have 3 deer down first, hopefully. You pay your wolf. Hopefully you pay with 3 red cards. You then draw 1, 2, 3 cards. You get to go again, and you get your 15 points. Makes it a great card. Next is your deer. All the deer cost 2 cards. There's 3 types of deer. There's the red deer, the roe deer, and the fallow deer. Now, depending on how the game plays and works out, any one can be stronger than the other. If you have a lot of trees, the red deer is the best. If you have lots of hoofed animals, your fallow deer obviously will be your best. And the roe deer, different ones give you a bonus for different colors. It's not all the dark green. And so it really depends on your unique forest. How many of that color do you have? But the roe deer is generally the weakest of the 3, kind of based on your forest, though. In any case, these are very strong cards that you ideally want to play. And if for some reason you can't play them, you should really probably not give them to your opponents. Sometimes you have almost no deer, so the wolf doesn't get you a lot. But if you only have, say, 1 deer, that means your neighbor probably has a bunch, and you do not want them to get the wolf. I would recommend never laying a wolf down. A deer, maybe. Depends on the game. Late in the game, you the color. But wolf, don't ever lay down a wolf. Make sure it gets buried in the clearing, or maybe you can always play the other side if it's useful. All right, next. The strongest tree, in my opinion, is the sycamore. And I've seen consistently in games, people like the sycamores. They often get you the most points of any tree. And so there's a point where, all the trees have good benefits, but I would strongly recommend keeping and playing your sycamores the best you can. Along with that, your carpenter bee. Costs you only 1, but now clones any trait. That's great for sycamores. That's great for oak trees. That can be great for your stone pines if you have lots of mountain cards. Your beeches, if you just can't get that last beech, that can get you your 4th beech. So it has a lot of utilities, the little bees. And lastly, I have beech martens. Beech marten only costs 1, and you get the draw card. It gets you 5 points per occupied tree. So depending on your forest, I've seen a lot of games where people have 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 or 7 occupied trees. Meaning in a 2-player game, it's not hard to get 25, 35 points per beech marten. For a card that costs you 1, and you get to draw a card, that's a no-brainer. In a 5-player game, it still, though, gets you a lot of points for what it costs. It's pretty easy to get 2 full trees. And so, even in a 5-player game, you probably have a couple full trees that probably getting 10 points. And it costs you almost nothing to get it. So, all right, now I'm going to talk about cards that are at the other end of the spectrum. What are some of the weakest cards in the game? First off, I'm going to go right from the bottom, weakest up. For me, the Wild Boar Squeaker combo is clearly the weakest card in the whole game. So, notice here, the Wild Boar costs 2 cards. He gets you 10 points, but only if you have a Squeaker. The Squeaker's free, but he only gets you 1 point. So, in order to get, in this case, 11 points, you must play 2 cards, pay 2, and take 2 turns. Very rarely is that worth it compared to the deer, compared to the wolves, compared to all the cards that I won't even talk about in this video. They're probably better to play than the boar and the squeaker in most cases. The one exception, though, might be if you have, say, a few of these fallow deer. If you can really start to stack up the fallow deer, because you get 3 points per hoofed animal, then all of a sudden, if you have 2 or 3 fallow deer, might be worth it. Otherwise, you're paying a lot. You're really not getting a lot out of the deal. All right, next, the raccoon. So the raccoon here, he lets you discard your hand and draw a new one. Put those cards in the cave. You might say, great, maybe if you have a lot of cards, you could potentially put up to 8 cards in your cave with the raccoon, understanding he's in your hand, you have to pay 1. But it's only 8 points. And you've just cycled probably through a lot of cards that you want to keep. So unlike the bear lets you pay 3 and then take the whole clearing, potentially taking up to 12 points. The raccoon, you can't get more than 8. And instead of taking cards in the clearing that you probably didn't want anyway, you are throwing away potentially great cards you want to keep. You know, key feature for Shuffle is kind of building up cards over time, keeping this card, gathering things. And so for at most 8 points, that's not a great strategy. One exception, though, if you get a vulture. Vulture, essentially, he only gives you 2 cards in your cave, but he essentially doubles the points per cave, because you get a card per point in your cave for the vulture, and then 1 regular. And now all of a sudden that makes it maybe worthwhile. But without the vulture, don't play the raccoon. Lastly, the bats. So, in general, the bats at most, you're getting 5 points per bat, but you got to have 3 different ones. So it could get you nothing. You have to start really working up and getting your bats going. You know, get 1, get 2, get 3. You can probably get 3. But this isn't a free card. Notice, this costs a card. And at best is a 5-point card. Anything that costs you a card and only gets you 5 points, that's not great. One exception, though, if you can, get one of his little nets. Notice, there's only 3 in the whole game. They let you play all your bats for free. So if you can collect a lot of bats in your hand, let's say you have 5 bats. You play your net, he's free. He's only 5 points, but if you can get 5 cards, 5 bats out there at once, now it's worth it. Otherwise, you know, even if you're playing him, getting 1 or 2, the bats just really aren't a way to get a lot of points overall. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video of Strongest Weakest Cards. We'll see you next time.